EA's doing something pretty crazy with loot boxes in Belgium, and this time, they're not budging.
Hot take!
So it probably won't come as a surprise that both Adam and I are not big fans of loot boxes, because we play video games and anyone that does typically doesn't like loot boxes. But we are not going to let this color our opinion on this too much because, well, let's face it, it's going to color our opinions quite a bit. So here's what's going down. EA is doing something pretty crazy in Belgium right now regarding loot boxes. Adam, what are they doing?
Yeah, so right now, EA, they have loot boxes integrated into their FIFA 18 game, and these loot boxes are considered egregious by the Belgian government, and they basically said, well, we know that we're going to maybe have the Belgian Gaming Commission come in, see our loot box system, and then we'll have some sort of fee or penalty for what we've done with our game, but we're not going to change it. We're just going to go forward, and we're going to continue having these loot box systems within our game itself. This is crazy.
Yes.
This is really wild because it's like they're playing chicken with the Belgian Gaming Commission in a sense, and this means like they could incur fees as well as jail time for what they're doing. Fees upwards of 800,000 euros, and jail time that could be 5 years, which could be doubled if the Belgian Gaming Commission sees that these games are being played and used by minors, which they of course are.
Yes. Now, we've already discussed 2K in this. 2K backed down, but then they basically wanted consumers to talk to the Belgian government and go, hey, consumers want this. And I actually wanted to reach out to the Belgian government to ask them how many people actually contacted them, but I didn't have to because I know nobody would have done that, okay? No one's going to be like, oh yeah, we want to pay more for that. Nobody would have done that. Now, that in mind, Activision Blizzard was given the same warning.
That's right.
They got rid of all those loot boxes.
Yeah.
Valve was given the exact same warning.
Yes.
They got rid of those loot boxes.
Yes.
So EA, being one of the companies that has some of the most money in the industry, you think they'd be able to do it as well, but apparently they don't want to because they make a lot of money from loot boxes because, surprise, surprise, it's gambling. So, of course, they're making quite a pretty penny from it.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're making a huge amount. Actually, in 2017, overall, they made $1.68 billion. That's revenue that's made outside of just the stable or the game itself. So there's the game, and then you have your microtransactions and your other sort of service stuff.
Now, to be fair, that can also mean map packs. That can also mean season passes.
Yes.
It's not just loot boxes, but in general, we do know that a lot of money is being generated on loot boxes because a map pack is a finite thing. You buy it once, you don't buy it again.
Look, EA would not be doing this with their games or not changing anything with their games unless this was making a lot of money for them. So yeah, absolutely. That's why I think they're giving the Belgian Gaming Commission the cold shoulder and just moving forward, saying like, okay, try coming after us.
Yes.
And I really I want to see them brought to court. I want to see
I hate to say this, okay? EA was a really cool company once upon a time, and I know for a while there they've struggled with their image, okay? If you're a gamer out there and you're watching the show, you know that EA has been known to do some pretty terrible practices in the past, but I really felt that lately they were trying their best.
Right.
They were stepping on their feet a little bit, they were messing up a little, but this is a pure sign that EA may literally be an evil company. Like, why else would you do this? Now, in many instances, when people or companies, independent folks, whatever, work against a government or do something like this against a government, it's because they're trying to foster some kind of belief that what they're doing is right. That's not what's going on here. This is a company that is trying to game the system and make as much money as they possibly can off kids, and there's no defense for that.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters. It seems like it's just the dollar sign. How much money can they make? Now, we had a friend reach out to us on Twitter, Matt. He asked, "What do you foresee as the trigger to finally get EA to say, okay, it's time to change our business model? What do you think could possibly make them do that?"
Well, I guess what they would really need to do is just focus on making the games not lose value so much. See, what they're doing right now with FIFA is they keep making a FIFA every single year. In some instances, they change very little in the games themselves, but they are not giving enough reason for people to go back and purchase more of those games. So what they need to do is they need to make expansion packs. They need to make like things like that, new player things, whatever. I don't agree with microtransactions in general when it comes to sport games because they're being released every single year. So it should just be a yearly increase if you want to. But you need to add more value to those games to keep people buying. If you're relying on like a loot box or loot crate system to get people to purchase things, then you are screwing up. You're literally you're depending on the marketplace within a video game. And that means if the video game ever stops selling for whatever reason at any point, then you're going to lose a lot of money because you're basically depending on one game to make a whole bunch of money rather than making multiple games at lower cost to make a lot more money.
I feel like if you want to see loot boxes taken out of these games, and I don't even care whether or not, I don't even want to think about a better system for EA. Like, they can do whatever the heck they want. But if we want to see these loot systems taken out of games, just stop buying them.
Yeah.
People should just, we've said it a million times over. You vote with your wallet, right? You don't want to see these systems and games. You don't put money into them. You don't support them. You don't continue supporting them. There's a reason why they made $1.68 billion US, and It's because people are using these systems.
I mean, okay, look, if I've always thought about this when it came to sports games in general, like FIFA. Charge a yearly fee for the game. Every year, someone has to pay a certain fee, and then new content keeps getting added regularly. And I think gamers out there,
like a season pass,
like a season. Well, like literally, FIFA doesn't change. I mean, there is like a story mode to it sometimes, but just charge a yearly access fee to have the game, which is essentially what they're doing anyway. And then give the loot boxes away for free in the game, and like just have them a part of these things that you unlock. It's the moment you charge to unlock those boxes or to get more loot boxes, that's when you have the problem. People don't hate loot boxes in games where it's just randomly rewarded and you don't have to pay for anything.
Right.
They hate that you have to pay for that stuff and that you have to purchase certain items to unlock certain items. I've got loot crates from games that I've played online. They just got there and I'm never going to unlock them because it costs money to unlock them.
We have had like gacha-like systems in games for years. It's not even like that this has popped up over the last 5 or 6 years. Like, you're playing Shenmue the other day and there are like gacha-like mechanics to that game where you're buying toys and little capsules. Same thing with like I was playing Minish Cap recently, and they have that in there as well. But you're not paying for anything.
No, you're not using actual real money. And that's the problem.
Those systems can work in games, and they can have that fun sort of like a little bit of an addictive nature to them. It does feel kind of exciting to get like a random mystery box item, but like feeding off of people who like get addicted to this, like a gambling sort of addiction. It's just wrong. It's just inherently, like you said, evil.
It is. It is. Like, I know EA understands this, but it's like they seem to be like just in the terrible wrong state of mind where they're like,
they're just okay with it.
Like, look. Yeah. You that are watching right now, likely you're not a super young kid. If you are young and you're watching Rerez, you're about to learn something about yourself. Kids typically don't know the difference between gambling and not gambling because they're still developing. They don't understand that stuff. So to have a game that tricks them into doing that kind of stuff, they don't have the ability to break apart that and understand what they're seeing is not okay for them to be consuming.
And as I said before, like, and we also don't want to create sort of a muscle in a young mind that like starts to sort of like hunger for this sort of system in games. Like this could branch out from games into other aspects of their lives, and it could become a very serious problem.
Exactly.
Gambling is a serious issue.
And this is exactly why the Belgian Gaming Commission is trying to avoid this, because they see that it can affect their kids.
And good on them, because not many other places are implementing as strict policies as they are. So I really applaud them for that.
But here's the thing, EA. You complete and total idiots. Here's what's going to happen in this exact way. You're going to go head-to-head with the Belgian government. You're not from Belgium, so they're not going to care. It's not like they're worrying about they're worrying about their citizens, not some third-party company from California where they think that they're going to have to worry about this. So you're going to come in, you're going to force this. You're going to get charged. You're going to lose all the money that you made gambling. It's going to go straight to the Belgian government. And what's going to be hilarious is people that are working at EA right now in the European Union are going to go to jail. Do you really want this? If you're working at EA right now in Europe, quit. You're likely going to get like sent to jail. You don't want that. And this is what really confuses me. Once that's established and one government out there has shown that they can make a lot of money by suing a company for basically gambling to children, who do you think is next? Paris?
Right.
Canada?
Well, I hope so.
Right?
I hope so. My worst nightmare is that the opposite happens, that EA goes to court and somehow they win, and then that just kind of opens the door for everyone else to push their loot box systems into Belgium.
The lawyer that they get will have to be the best lawyer in the world.
They got $1.68 billion last year to help them out, I guess.
They literally have to... Well, I mean...
They should randomize their lawyer.
Jeez. What's going to be funny, too, is that when you think about all the money they made previously doing this, if the Belgian government so sees it fit and says that was gambling back then, they're going to get charged for prior offenses.
I hope so.
Here's the thing, okay? By doing everything that they're doing, they're putting themselves in a position to fail. The Belgian government does not care about EA. They care about their kids. And you're going to have to convince them that kids buying something and gambling with that money is okay. And you can't. There's no way to do that. We've had this argument for years in North America and in other regions of the world about loot boxes. You can't defend it. And consumers have been in revolt about this. That's why a lot of the loot box games we've had recently have done really poorly. And in many cases, people have stopped buying them because they're seeing them for the scams they are. So when the consumers basically get pissed off, then eventually the government gets angry because the consumers tell the government, we don't want this thing.
Yeah.
And we're talking about video games. There are so many ways to make money in video games. If you honestly think loot boxes are the only way, you're just not thinking hard enough. Make more games, make more interesting packages, work a little harder to get people to buy your games, and maybe, just maybe, you might turn a profit instead of actually just getting a whole bunch of kids to gamble.
Wow, yeah, very well spoken. I couldn't have said it better myself. So, what do you guys think? Like, is EA in the right for continuing to move forward with a sort of system that they've had in place for years now? Do you side with the Belgian government? I kind of tend to side with them. I think it's ludicrous.
I don't even know the Belgian government. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think I know a single Belgian person, but I'm still thinking in my head, like, there's no way anyone, if you're watching Rerez, I know how much of a gamer you are, and I know you love video games. You wouldn't accept this from any company. Why would you accept it from EA?
You shouldn't.
And you know what, folks? If somebody is out there and they live in Belgium and they are very familiar with the gaming industry there, write in the comments below. Share your thoughts on this.
Please.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know.